Going live.
Hey everyone, we are live. We're just getting ourselves set up on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just bear with us a moment.
We're on YouTube.
So you can see John wave to everyone on Instagram,
Facebook, and YouTube.
Cool.
All right, so rethinking core strength. We want to, because at Bendable Body, we do resistance stretching. It changes the fascia in your body. And we've gotten some questions lately, and we've gotten them over the years too, about core strength. Do these exercises strengthen your core? Because they're being recommended to core strength. And the core is just not the abdominals, it's the lower back. Sometimes they include the glutes. To help with back pain, to help with overall strength, mobility, and things like that. And we think that you have to do all the muscle groups in the body. We have a fully comprehensive program of, all the muscle groups in the upper and lower body. And we emphasize hamstrings because that's the toughest tissue in the body.
But are we actually strengthening, or we're not strengthening?
We're resistant stretching. It's a very specific movement. It's the only way your muscles actually will stretch. But the stretch is when you resist, improve the health of your fascia. And that will produce strength in your body. That will produce flexibility in your body. That will improve your posture without you trying to, control your posture, purposely keep your shoulders back or anything like that. We're going to give you a demonstration. We want you to participate. But it's how the hamstrings regulate and really impact the pelvis, the spine, the neck, the shoulders, and of course the legs and feet. And the hamstrings tend to be generally, and by design, the toughest tissue in the body. The three hamstrings, they're called semimembranosus, semitendinosus, bicep femoris, as opposed to pectoralis major, psoas major. So they're descriptive not only of the location and the attachments, but also of the quality of the tissue. So they're very tendinous in the back, and they need more attention. And when you change them, you have huge impacts on your body. Your core is strengthened by doing the hamstrings, and we'll experience that in just a moment here.
So John, if someone were to come to you and say, I have back pain and I've been told to strengthen my core, what do you think? What would you say?
Well, when you change the hamstrings, that's going to help with back pain and strengthen your core. People have experienced it over and over and over again.
And so why is that? Why will changing the hamstrings strengthen your core rather than just doing strength training exercises for the core muscles?
Because you can do all the sit-ups you want, you can do all the glute exercises you want, but you really want the body to be, you get stronger by being in better alignment. Mm-hmm. And for most of us in the Western cultures here, have a forward tilting or a flexed pelvis. And from that position, all of our walking, all of our arm movements, all of our spine or torso is done out of compensation. We're compensating when the pelvis is flexed forward like that. And the primary muscles that are pushing the pelvis forward are tight hamstrings because they won't shorten. So flexibility is a two-way street. People think of it commonly as muscles won't lengthen. Well, that's certainly true. But they also won't shorten. And that's what they're supposed to do to move us. So if we want more strength, they have to contract and shorten more. And that's where resistance stretching comes in.
So would it be accurate to say that you would say if you want to have a more stable body, have a better aligned body, get rid of pain pretty much anywhere, but certainly in the spine, that it's better to remove some of the unhealthy fascia from the hamstrings rather than focusing on building strength in the core muscles?
Absolutely. You will get significantly stronger with resistance stretching than you will with traditional strength training. You'll become better aligned.
But so can you kind of like, I don't know, help people understand? Because I mean, strengthening the core is like the, golden star for every pain point practically. You gotta get core strength. You gotta get core strength. And we're like, not really. You gotta get flexible hamstrings. And so that's a big difference in thought process. And so maybe just kind of explain it to people one more time. Why?
All right. Well, let's maybe get a visual, and then we'll do a few stretches if you want to join along with us here. Let's bring our leg up to our torso, and let's bring the other, and just check in. This is like one of the check-ins we're going to do, okay? Because this movement here, requires the abdominal muscles to contract and shorten. So that's core, right? That's core. Another core movement is just like a lunge, but we're going to do like a lunge and push ourselves back. So just take a little step forward, and then let that leg push you back. Take a little step forward and let that leg push you back. And do the other leg. Check both legs out. See how it feels. Let the leg push you back. A lot of people go forward and then they bring their torso back. So just let the leg, because it's a leg thing, right? Because that in part is like a determination of glute strength for some people and quad strength. Okay, so you ready? We checked in, we can feel what's going on in our body. Now let's do some resistance stretching. Choose a leg. I'm going to do my left leg. Resistance stretching for the hamstrings. We'll do all 3 hamstrings, okay? We'll do about 10 repetitions for each hamstring. There's 3 hamstrings on each leg. So we're going to do the left leg. So let's take a little step forward with that left leg. So we'll all join us here. We'll do some hamstring stretches. For now, let the foot be straight ahead. Bend the knee. Bend the knee. Now, that's the pillar 1, the position, the start position. Pillar 2 is resist. It's resistance stretching. So how do we do that? We pull the heel back. Pull the heel back and feel the back of your leg tighten up. Pillar 3, stretch. Lengthen this muscle, but continue to resist. Continue to resist. And let it go. Pillar 4, let it go. Come back to the start. Let's do it again. Pull that heel back, pull that heel back, pull that heel back, pull that, let it go. Pull the heel back from the start position. You should feel a lot of force, right? There's a lot of force in the back of the leg. Pull the heel back. Make sure there's a bend in that knee. Make sure there's a bend in that knee. We encourage people to breathe in and out through the nose, do any breathing cadence you wish. So we're about halfway there on the central hamstring, which we refer to as the brain meridian, brain muscle group. But let's stay with this resistance stretching for the hamstring. Couple more. Resist, pull that heel back, pull that heel back, pull that heel back, let it go. Okay, shake it out. Lateral hamstring. Turn the foot out. Same position, a little step forward. Now turn the foot out, bend knee, pull the heel back. Now we're getting a lateral hamstring. Pull the heel back, pull the heel back, pull the heel back with the leg turned out. Right? Resist, resist, resist. Relax on the way up. Sometimes I catch myself bringing my head down. Try and keep the head up or in line with your torso. Resist, resist, resist. Pull that heel back, let it go. So we're going to do about 8 or 10 on this leg also, right? Resist, resist, resist. Now we're talking about core strength. We're asking you to rethink about core strength. We're asking you to rethink about flexibility and maybe what's the most important part of the body. All right, okay. Shake that out. Third hamstring, medial hamstring. Turn the foot in. Little step forward, turn the foot in, bend the knee, pull the heel back. Now the medial hamstring's firing and stretching. Resist, I pull that. So on this medial hamstring, I like to create a little bit of width, more so than the central and lateral. And now instead of pulling straight back, you're naturally pulling toward this leg. That's how that goes. Pull that heel back, and it goes back to this leg. Pull the heel back because the leg turned in. Bend in the knee. Let's keep going, let it go. Pull the heel back, it should feel hard. Tough tissue, a lot of force, great workout, by the way. Let it go. So each movement, you resist, you resist, you resist, and you lengthen, and we're changing the fascia, the tough tissue in the back of the leg. It's resistance and repetitions. Okay. All right, shake it out, shake it out. All right, now let's do that leg lift. Whoa, quicker, lighter, easier. Can you feel that? It comes up even higher. So we got range of motion, and if something's easier, you've become stronger, right? So this leg has become stronger because it's easy, it comes up easier. This one's still a little tight. Now let's try that little mini lunge. I'm going to do the other leg. Nothing's really changed there. Now the leg we stretched. Better balance, much stronger. It's like effortless to push you back. Do you feel that? Can you feel the strength that happened in your body? Core, thighs, glutes, it all happened because we stretched the 3 hamstrings with resistance, which is a flexibility exercise, but it produces more strength results. Okay, it produces more strength results than any kind of weightlifting. So, you know, we call ourselves the hamstring police at Bendable Body. And it's not just because it's the hamstrings, we feel like they're placed and they're important. They are the only muscle group that cross 2 joints, actually. They attach to the pelvis and the lower leg. So they do have that unique role. But you got to change the toughest tissue in the body. I know there are people they love the psoas major, so important. Really is important. But you could stretch that all day and not get the results that you get when you resist and stretch your hamstrings. It's really, so if you're standing there, you might feel that shoulder's further back in space and you have more weight coming through that foot. Now, we already determined it was stronger in a number of different ways. You know, the hamstrings, the thighs, the abdominals. The other thing is, do you feel this front leg more open than this one? I'm noticing that now. You might not notice it. So what that is the pelvis went from, I'm going to exaggerate, this to more like this. And when the pelvis is level, I have to bend my knees to get my pelvis level, but you can see how the shoulder sits nicely and the arms dangle nicely. But as soon as I straighten those legs out, my head and neck go forward. This is my natural posture. It used to be much worse. But it's not just absolute that the pelvis went from here to here. Now the pelvis, when I walk or run or move, can extend and flex more, extend and flex more. So it has more movement. It's got a ways to go, right? We're still working. Tough tissue, generations of sitting, you know, have created the bodies that aren't as good as the bodies were, you know, 100 years ago. But, you know, we have this resistance stretching and we can turn back the clock.
So John, the increased movement that you got in the pelvis from resistance stretching your hamstrings and removing some of the fascia there, how does that affect the core, having more movement in the pelvis?
Well, if you're, again, this forward tilting pelvis, if that's where we're all emanating from, that's our
stuck.
Yeah, and then you go to lift your leg, you're out of rotation. So when the pelvis does this, the thigh does that. I'm exaggerating just so you can understand what's happening. So if you're doing that, it's hard to bring see if it's more extended, then this comes up straight and there's less impediment of movement. Now, we didn't check in with the arms before, but maybe we should have. Now this is my tighter arm. We stretch the left hamstrings, and this has an easier path up. This is a little tighter. Now, if we do some hamstrings, does anybody feel that one side moves a little easier? I can feel that. But you might want to do more hamstring stretches and check again. Because whatever's going on in our spine, it's because the hamstrings are either really, really healthy and gushy, or they're tight and dense with fascia. So again, think about the forward flexing pelvis. If it goes forward, the back goes up, and the compression in the spine and in the discs that people get, it has different names, is coming from not the weight coming down on our shoulders. There's no weight coming down on our shoulders. It's coming from below and getting pushed up. So if you want to just check that out, when you exaggerate and extend the pelvis, right, sit way back, can you feel the space back here? There's a space. Now stand up straight, and that compressed. It compressed. So the spondylolisthesis, the compression, when we lose cartilage between the discs and the spine, the number one culprit are the three hamstrings, and particularly the lateral hamstring in particular. It's generally the tightest in the body. We got some questions.
Okay, let's answer.
So do your hamstring stretches, and that's going to help a lot. And the core will work better.
So let's see, Jonathan, I've heard that the health of the pelvic floor and diaphragm are key to core strength. I know that breathing is key to the diaphragm. Are there any bendable body stretches that address the pelvic floor and diaphragm?
Medial hamstring will help with the pelvic floor.
Yeah.
Diaphragm, did they say the diaphragm?
Well, this person's correlating the pelvic floor and the diaphragm to core strength.
Well, the lateral hamstring will help with the diaphragm being able to being drawn down lower for more natural breathing. And the pelvic floor is the medial hamstring.
See, so the way that we're thinking about it is that strengthening your core and having like really toned abs in your core is secondary to having healthy hamstrings. And actually, no matter how many sit-ups or curl-ups or whatever it is that you do to have that strengthened core, if you don't change the alignment of the pelvis by getting your hamstrings healthier, which are determining the alignment of your pelvis, you can only get so much done. It's like a Band-Aid. So yes, it might take some pressure off the spine, off the pelvic floor, what have you, but it's not going to accomplish, it's going to accomplish like a 100th of the result as you'll get if you actually stretch your hamstrings. So that's really how we're thinking about it. Let's see, Wendy, what happens if you have arthritis in the hip joints and bone spurs too? You want to answer that, John?
Well, the unique thing about resistance stretching is that when you resist and then you go to lengthen that muscle that you're targeting, the fascia engages and you get this like suspension at the joint. So it'll improve the health of your joint. There's specific muscle groups that will help with inflammation generally in the body. Another muscle group that will help with specifically inflammation in the joints and arthritis and things like that. So
I think also people have a fear when they have that kind of an injury that if they stretch and do anything, it's going to hurt it worse. And that's really not true because our stretches target fascia. We aren't targeting joints. We're fixing joints by targeting the fascia that's impacting the joint, but we stay out of the joint.
Yeah, so we can always find a stretch and a position for you to do that you can resist maximally and get some nice changes and improve that situation you have.
Yeah, we really appreciate everybody coming live. We're going to put this out there. So right now, our membership is open for enrollment through Sunday. It's over 200 on-demand videos. There are live Zoom classes that come with that. You have daily access to John and I. We have incredible guest speakers. It's a full program, really reasonably priced. And I've put the link in the post for you to go check it out. You can also find everything you need to know about it at our main website, bendablebody.com. And yeah, we'd love to have you join us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, the benefits for the membership, every day you can go in and do stretches, pick anyone you want. We have a curated program, but you get to ask questions every day, asking about just like, is this good for my hip? What are good stretches for my hip, my back,
pelvic floor,
immune system things. It really covers the fascia is the root cause of so many and almost all physical and physiological things in the body, we'd love to have you join us and see you in the membership and ask your questions.
Okay.
All right.
We're gonna say goodbye now.
Have a
But it
great
was nice
day.
being with you guys.
See
Bye.
ya.